Good morning and welcome to Kirkstone. I just thought I'd do this what I'm laughingly calling a hemi tour, because it's not a tour of the whole of the main greenhouse here at Kirkstone, but it is a tour of half of the greenhouse, starting with a very quick overview. And this is not an in-depth piece of coverage. This is merely to celebrate really the fact that this has been designated the warmest February day for 20 years here in the UK, which is essentially something remarkable, because last February was very cold, and whilst we have had a period of 3 or 4 weeks of very cold weather, including quite severe snowstorms, the overall ambience of the winter has been extremely unwintry. And we have, as I'm sure you can see, some unbelievable sunlight shining through various plants, making this ghostly variegated Haworthia retusa even more ghostly than normal. It looks as if it's been lit from above, as one of my friends is very fond of saying. So what I thought I would do is really not spend too much time, because I know everybody's busy, just having a look at half of the greenhouse and having a very brief discussion really about what's going on. Now, this is not an official YouTube video. This is not going to be part of one of our in-depth studies of particular plant groups. This is merely a quick update of planning really, and future planning. So we have I should pan back really, shouldn't I? We have the plants which all used to be Haworthias, that section of the Liliales that were called comfortably for many years Haworthias, and now of course have been split into those 3 subgeneric level groups. The harder leaved, bigger growing Haworthias, which were previously plants which we knew as Margaretifera, Pumila, Minima, and all the rest of them have all been segregated off into Tulista a few years ago. And we have some Tulista here, a couple of new ones. This is Tulista cultivar Pumila Emperor. So this is the Emperor cultivar of Tulista Pumila. So there's the couple of Pumila variants here. We've got Haworthia Pumila itself, which really is one of my favourite plants. Lovely spotted Haworthia stroke Tulista Pumila. And we've got a hybrid between the stiffer recurved leaved Marginata and Pumila, which has got, I don't know if you can see them both together. It's got a kind of a fatter, stiffer outreaching leaf as opposed to a slightly incurved leaf. And then we've got a particularly nice cultivar which came from Japan a few years ago, and this is Angel's Tears, more correctly Tears of an Angel. Sounds like a Madonna LP cover, doesn't it? That really is a lovely plant. And then, as I say, we've got those 2 new offsets from Tulista Emperor. So we've got a little Tulista section there, so we'll be featuring that when we come along to do the Haworthia series quite soon. Now, towards the back corner we have the Haworthiopsis section. So this is the section of the old Haworthia grouping that was called the Hexangulares, and they were separated off by a couple of botanists based on the structure of the flowers. So there's a couple of windowed species in there, centering around the tessellata stroke venosa complex. Then there's the well-known Attenuata fasciata complex, with some nice variegated plants in that particular grouping. And then there are some larger growing Attenuata fasciata complex groups like Attenuata varradula, the cultivar Fasciata concolor, Haworthia longiana, one of the longest leaved Haworthias, and then the Limifolia clade, There's Limifolia var arcana there. We've also got the spider white clone of Limifolia striata. We also have a nice variegated Limifolia there. So there's quite a lot going on in the Haworthiopsis section. Obviously I don't want to cover everything and steal my own thunder for the official Haworthia video when it comes out. But there are some very, very, very attractive plants in the Haworthiopsis section. At the Tulista section we've covered briefly, and then the rest of the collection are essentially the plants built around the Truncata morganii complex, and we have a few of those with hybrids with different species, many of which are around that hybrid Kagani. So Truncata times Kagani, for example, we have a small individual plant, Zuzimi, and we also have a colony of that plant which is branching nicely. That's also Haworthia truncata Zuzimi. And I am experimenting with growing some of these clustering or clumping Haworthias in lower pans, almost alpine style, and really letting them branch at the base and seeing what they can do, rather than continually splitting them and taking them off. And the other main focus, apart from the general Haworthia approach, are the softer leaved retusae. So all of these plants which have windowed, recurved leaves, including my personal favourite, this Haworthia pygmaea. There's a very, very large growing version of that particular taxon, and many cultivars and hybrids like this Fusca and others. So there are quite a few. I suppose one of the standout plants, and I'm never quite 100% convinced about the name, is this Retusa acuminata. It's just such an incredibly perfect eye-catching plant. So I say, this isn't an in-depth genus overview of the plants that used to be Haworthia. It's just to celebrate the fact that it's a nice day and to have a look at what's going on in the greenhouse. Well, that is the brief February Haworthia overview, just to see what's going on at Kirkstone. So the plans are to continue to segregate Haworthiopsis, Haworthia and Tulista out, and to have separate growing areas for them, and to look at the relationships between particular groupings like Tulista and Haworthiopsis with other plants like Gasteria, about which I will speak very soon. And welcome to the first flying overview that introduces us to the Haworthia series. It won't be very long, but I'm taking advantage of the sunshine, just kind of really showing you the size of the collection before it starts to really grow and to expand. The main thing I wanted to get across was the incredible variety of the Haworthias in the collection, and also the unbelievable range of structure and design that you will find amongst what we're calling Haworthiads. So those plants which were formerly included in the overarching genus Haworthia, and there were three subsections. Of course, there was the genus Haworthia proper, and they were the plants which had succulent leaves like these, and like these, like these, and most of these. Then there was the genus Hexangulares, and the Hexangulares have now been moved into the new group Haworthiopsis. So Haworthiopsis meaning those plants which look like Haworthias, and they are again a very varied group, and we're going to be focusing on those at some point in the series, and we'll have a real chat and a talk about the genus Haworthiopsis. And the other section was the section Robusti pedunculares, and those larger growing Haworthias have now been moved into their own genus, which they should, because they're not really that similar, their own genus Tulista. So we have Tulista, they're the large firm-leaved growing plants, and then we have Haworthiopsis. They are mostly rosetiform with spots, but some grow to be more columnar and lengthy, and we'll be looking at some really tall ones later. And then the actual genus Haworthia itself, which has the rosetiform, squat, fat-leaved, juicy plants in it. So the three groups really are quite distinct, and we have a lot of Haworthias to talk about. We have lots of unboxings to celebrate, and we have lots of truly stunning plants to look at. And that is what we are going to spend the next few video episodes doing. We're going to have a look at spider Haworthias. We're going to have a look at Tulistas. We're going to have to look at the very many wide shape of the modern cultivars in the Retice group, so the Retice Haworthias, and any others which merit our special attention, like the truncate Haworthias, those derived from Haworthia truncata and Morganii. But mostly we're just going to celebrate the joy and diversity of this wonderful group. Haworthia, Tulista, Haworthiopsis, spider Haworthias, Retice Haworthias, and this magnificent hybrid from China, Bingay, which means the ice river. And this is the largest Haworthia that we have, and we'll come back to have a really good close look at this guy, and this guy, and this guy, and this guy, and all of the plants in the overall collection will all get their chance to shine in the sun. So we'll be talking about all of these. Of course, if you do have any questions, then by all means ask. If you have any suggestions for future videos, also ask. Basically interact in any way that you feel is useful. Ask away, and we'll try and do our very best to answer. So it's goodbye for me for now, and I'll see you very soon on the second episode of the series. See you soon. Bye.